Hello, friends. Welcome to a new episode of The Mind Maverick by Rosalind Bosco. Uh, this this video is going to be in English, and 3 days ago, I did an interview with Jeff Mara, and his podcast is called the Jeff Mara Podcast. The number of my interview is 192, and it is doing really well, friends. It has got 5,300 views in just 3 days' time, and I'm very happy about it. And in that interview, I had talked about a number of topics. The interview went on for more than an hour. So a lot of topics and questions. There was a discussion about a lot of topics. And after people saw that, some came back with a request that I should post a video in English about the nature of reality. So I decided to do this video for the general understanding of people who don't know other languages. As I have already told you, been telling you for in the past 2 or 3 episodes, my dear friends, I would like to explain everything in a scientific way because you, as the younger generation, or even people whose minds are receptive to new thoughts and ideas, always need some kind of evidence, scientific evidence. I cannot just talk to you about consciousness without giving you proper evidence about the same. So the question today that I would like to answer is about the nature of reality. Is this world actually a simulation? Is this world actually a hologram? Then, if so, can it be answered by science? And can science and spirituality go together in learning more about this? So this is what we are going to speak. I'm going to speak about today, friends. Here, I cannot bring out the scientific view excepting if I bring the double slit experiment into the picture. So I have already spoken about this in the Jeff Mara interview. This video is specifically made to explain the nature of the double slit experiment. In the early 19th century, Thomas Young, a scientist, he performed this experiment with photons or particles of light and waves of light, as you would like to call it. He had arranged 2 slits through which he allowed light to pass. On the other end of on the other side, there were screens. There was a screen to capture the impact of the particles of light or the light wave on the screen. So as he did his experiment and proceeded with it, he saw that something bizarre, strange was taking place. Something really weird was going on. And what was that? The light which was passed through created an interference pattern. That is, as when it passed through the slits and went to the other side, it created an interference pattern. And when this interference pattern was noticed on the other end of the screen, on the other side, the particles of light seemed to assume wave-like properties and not that of particles. Again, there is another strange thing which he noticed. This was true only when the particles went unnoticed. When there was an observer observing the passage of photons, the light assumed the nature of particles. But when the same experiment was done without an observer, the same light assumed the properties of waves. So, how can these particles of light or wave, whatever you call it, have a dual nature? This is a question which has baffled the greatest scientists on earth, and it seems Einstein has also remarked, "Do you mean to say that the moon exists only when I see it?" But at the same time, it answers many questions that we have been speaking about regarding the illusory nature of the earth, or how we can look at the whole world or our universe as a simulation. You could call it a simulation or a game for the spiritual beings or the souls to come and have an experience and learn life lessons on the planet Earth. So this is a very interesting proposition, friends. Let me explain it a little more. So what does this prove? What does this prove? It means that when this light is observed by a conscious observer, by an intelligent observer, then it assumes the nature of a particle. When it is not observed, it is just a wave function. The same experiment was done with electrons and other atoms, friends, and till date, even after a century, the experiments have yielded the same results. So, which means that our consciousness is able to have an impact on the nature of waves, and our consciousness is what makes this energy function or a wave function. It is what changes the nature of the energy function into that of a particle. So this raises a lot of exciting possibilities, my dear friends. Just imagine that there are so many potentialities around us, so many probabilities, potentialities that we could make use of. That is all available to us in the right state of consciousness. And when you move towards this right state of consciousness, you can possibly make use of all these probabilities that are just waiting, or the potentialities that are just waiting to be explored and made use of. So the double slit experiment has a lot of exciting possibilities, my dear friends, and it would surely go a long way in explaining whether our universe is really a simulation, whether our universe is really a hologram. And It is meant primarily for us to have a very exciting, fruitful experience designed by the Creator for the soul's growth, to have a really exciting experience, a really fruitful mission for us to grow together as a humanity, as a race, without differences, without biases and prejudices. Thank you for listening to me, and this is the Mind Maverick, Rosalind Bosco, signing off. Thank you.